The Activision Blizzard deal is setting up to be even more interesting as time goes on. Because now, not only are they being sued by the FTC, not only is there actually, this is more on the Activision side, is there a share owner from Sweden, hi guys, if you're watching in Sweden, hello. Not only is there somebody from a shareholder and based in Sweden suing Activision to claim stuff from the summer when all their drama came out, the toxic workplace. Now, Microsoft sued by gamers over $69 billion Activision deal too. They are being sued by video gamers based on some law that I'll look into, and as a layman, I'm going to probably think is, what? I'm not reading this right. I need somebody smarter than me to understand this. Well, actually kind of dumber than me, but somebody who knows law to understand some of these things. That being said, there's a law apparently that allows for citizens to sue corporations that are acting in antitrust monopolies, or how they view an antitrust. I do not think the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal is antitrust. I do not see them becoming a monopoly, and I do have a metric to show how I think this is BS. Considering the other corporations, the indie developers, Steam, PC, all sorts of other platforms to play video games, this always hinges on the fact that people want to play Call of Duty and they're scared of Microsoft and some of the power they will be gaining. That being said, there is an area that I have not thought of before, Battle.net, things of that nature, that Microsoft will be getting access to. At the same time, though, who really cares? I'm being serious here. Blizzard. World of Warcraft has been dead for a while. Overwatch 2, relatively still popular, but still has tons of criticisms. People were very angry at that initial launch. And also the game is pretty much just a carbon copy of Overwatch, just with a kind of a storyline, I believe. What games are they getting? Oh, Call of Duty. That's always the linchpin in this. But we'll go through this. Microsoft corporate planned $68.7 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard Incorporated hit another hurdle Tuesday when a group of gamers challenged the deal in court. The federal antitrust lawsuit filed in San Francisco. Oh, everything great comes from San Francisco, right? Right? No, but I am going to be looking to some of these law firms and trying to figure out some funny things, because one of them does have a connection to YouTube. That will be interesting to look into. Comes less than 2 weeks after the Federal Trade Commission sued to block the merger between one of the world's top video game publisher and the manufacturer of the Xbox console. The new suit names Microsoft, but not Activision, as a defendant. There is an interesting factor here in that until I look into I'm going to try to look into this. I'll see what I can do. I might reach out to some people to try to understand some of this nuance. If not, I'll try to be a layman and work my way through this, and we'll get critiqued by actual lawyers, probably. I'm curious where they're going, because some of the claims here are interesting. Like the FTC, the gamers are seeking a court order prohibiting the companies from consummating the transaction, basically finalizing it. Their complaint cites concerns that the merger would give Microsoft enough clout over multiple levels of gaming industry. I call BS. I call more propagandized thoughts here, because I don't see it. Somebody please point me in the direction where Microsoft becomes a monopoly over any of these areas. 2, foreclose rivals. How? Okay. Battle.net on PlayStation so you can play Diablo and Overwatch 2. Okay, so why? Why would they be foreclosing that? Why would they shut that off? Again, you're having to use PlayStation to pay them. I see a win. I don't see any way for people to get shut down. Limit output. I mean, output of video games is pretty sparse right now. Indie games are on the rise. There are some other developers that are coming out. Excited for the new Final Fantasy. I'm kind of excited for the new Zelda. There's one other thing. We were talking about it last night on Adam Behind the Scenes. There's some games coming out that I'm excited about. On Adam, on Renaissance Nerds channel. So, how does this limit output? Are you meaning they're going to put more time and energy and money into games to try to give you a better product? Okay. Reduce consumer choice. How? Like I said, indie market is actually on the rise. There are more games today than there were last year, the year before that. There are always hundreds of games. For heck's sake, on Renaissance Nerd last night, we watched a trailer for a brand new game. Granted, it's on I think it's on Microsoft, but it's a freaking funny game. That's a brand new game. Basically an indie developed game. It's on Xbox, but it's freaking funny and looks fun. Although it's $60. Raise prices. Every game company is raising prices right now. So you can't say that part. Every company has been raising prices. All games right now across companies are around $60 to $70. That's the reality. Oh, excuse me. And further, inhibit competition. Like I said, when it said limit output, well, reduce consumer choice. How can you inhibit competition when the indie market is thriving? Steam's thriving. Epic Games, not a huge fan of Epic Games. Have some games I like, but let's be real. I have criticisms with Epic. Epic Games exist. Epic Games Launcher exists. Steam exists. OGO, whatever. The thing that frickin' CD Projekt Red puts a lot of their games on. That exists. There are other developers out there that are still putting out AAA games. So, inhibit competition. No, there are other games still existing in this world. That's how I always look at this. The video game industry is bigger than just PlayStation and Xbox. There are other platforms. For crying out loud, Switch exists. Microsoft already controls one of the industry's most popular and largest video game ecosystems, the suit says. Questionable at best. It's just the easiest to access because of the whole play mechanic. I mean, you can see my app right here. The proposed acquisition would give Microsoft an unrivaled position in the gaming industry. How? They're still behind. They're still only the second largest gaming industry behind Sony. Behind Tencent. They're, third largest, I misspoke. They're still behind. How are they becoming unrivaled position in the gaming industry? They just get more access to AAA titles. Sony has access to AAA titles. Everybody has access to AAA titles. I can get access to AAA titles through the PC. Leaving it with the greatest number of must-have games and iconic franchises. What? Again, this is centered around Call of Duty. All these acquisition claims, all these competition claims, they always center around Call of Duty. What other major platform games does Blizzard Activision have? Yes, they have Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot isn't as big as it once was. Okay. Next, Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 had serious complaints at launch day. I haven't looked back at it. They might have fixed it. But it's still just a rehash of Overwatch 1. With a storyline, I believe. World of Warcraft. Yeah, World of Warcraft. Diablo. How's Diablo faring, by the way? Hi, Diablo fans. I'm sorry. I was one of you. Love Diablo 2. How is Diablo faring? No, all these always center around Call of Duty. Always remember that. That's what they say. The must-have iconic franchise. Call of Duty. That's what they talk about. A Microsoft spokesperson defended the transaction Tuesday in a statement to Bloomberg Law. This deal will expand competition and create more opportunities for gamers and game developers as we seek to bring more games to more people, the statement said. Yeah, they do. They want to do it through Microsoft, but they still want to give more people access. Now, there's things about their whole subscription service. I'm not a huge fan of it. We'll see how it all plays out. According to the complaint, the planned merger would give Microsoft outsized power. Again, third largest company, behind Sony and Tencent. In the industry overlapping product markets such as console, we'll get back to that, PC, cloud-based, and mobile gaming. It will gain access to mobile gaming. It basically helped create the cloud-based gaming system. PC is something completely different. Microsoft is on several playing fields. I'm not going to lie that. Microsoft is there. Here's the thing, though. Steam exists. Like I said, Epic exists. Ogo, whatever exists. Or Geo, or GoGo, or whatever it's called. That exists. There's other platforms out there. There's other distributors. There's other platforms that Microsoft doesn't have access to. So, no. For crying out loud, Steam put out their own console this year, and Steam has one of the largest libraries of games out there. So, no. And mobile gaming, yeah, again, this deal is to basically get into the mobile market. The tech giant would also have allegedly gain an edge in markets covering top-tier AAA games. What was Game of the Year this year? Now, originally I thought it was going to be God of War. I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be God of War. But what was Game of the Year this year? Game of the Year this year was Elden Ring from Software. That was the Game of the Year. Elden Ring was fantastic. From Software exists. So, AAA games, covering top-tier AAA games. No, Call of Duty is what they're talking about. Call of Duty is the only AAA game. Well, again, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, and Diablo. They're all AAA titles, but they're not as prominent as Call of Duty. Call of Duty is the key. Subscription services, I can see that point. They'll get access to a lot more subscription services. All that being said, Sony has access to its own subscription service. There are other subscription services out there. Microsoft will get access to a conceivable amount, but there's probably things that can happen there. And consoles themselves. False. That's why I have this pulled up. Switch versus PS5 versus Xbox Series X sales. The Switch has still outsold the Xbox Series X. The PlayStation has outsold the Xbox Series X. Actually, the Switch has outsold all three of them. So no, Microsoft will not have power over the console industry. Sony, still is one of the largest gaming companies out there, larger than Microsoft, if they get this deal, still exists. The Switch is becoming one of the most sold platforms out there, outselling the PS5, and Xbox Series X. Granted, it's hard to get your hands on the Series X or PS5, but still, that exists. So no, they will not have power over the consoles themselves. Heck, the Steam Deck exists. Again, I go to Steam. Valve, for crying out loud. The gaming division at both companies are already the results of past major mergers, reflecting a dramatic wave of consolidation. Why could I not say that way? That word. Wow, my brain is failing. Whatever. Following a long history of concentration, consolidation, and concentration, and gaming markets that continues to threaten the sector's competitive landscape, indie games are still thriving. Steam exists. The competition is still out there. For crying out loud, indie games pop up constantly that outperform several AAA titles and are considered better than AAA titles. They exist. So no, the industry is still very, very vast, and it will not this deal won't stifle competition. For crying out loud, PC gaming is one of the biggest forms of gaming. Now I get it. Microsoft, as you can see there, has a PC app. Microsoft runs their own internet service and everything like that. Windows, all that stuff. Guess what? So what? PC gaming is still a larger form of gaming than all the other forms. There are more PC gamers out there than anybody else. So PC gaming is still massive. The merger would also allegedly combine two of the few large companies currently competing with workers with the specialized talent. I was learning how to be a game developer once. It's bloated. You have to learn a bunch of things that you shouldn't have to learn for a game developer. And you can start doing it. Indie developers don't need any of this. So specialized talent, indie developers exist. They can go off and work on their own to make video games that would reduce employee mobility and leverage at exactly the wrong time. Well, this is where some interesting things come in, because remember San Francisco. Remember when I was pointing out the Activision lawsuit by a shareholder to try to stop this deal? Because this starts going into an interesting territory that I think honestly is bullcrap, and I think maybe I personally think a lot of these claims are BS. Federal judge might think otherwise. Again, this is probably going to go into California if it even gets accepted. That being said, well, the District of California, I don't remember what district that is, but all that being said, exactly the wrong time. Mobility and leverage at exactly the wrong time. Reduce employee mobility. Why would employee mobility be important right now? It's not the economy they're talking about. When Activision is engulfed in lawsuits over its toxic culture of gender discrimination and sexual harassment, according to the complaint. Going back to all that BS. All that BS fizzled out. Claims started coming out that, look at this room. It was their Cosby room. It was their grape room. Oh, well, wait. All those pictures and all these accusations came out years before the Cosby event began years. Now, who knows what happened here, but what it all ended up looking like is another kind of Me Too style allegation. Me Too events started happening. See, people are coming back now because it kind of looks like BS. All that being said, that allegation echoes an unrelated shareholder case. Just happens to be in this case, but it kind of echoes a point that an unrelated shareholder said, challenging the deal from a different angle. The investor lawsuit filed by a Swedish state-run pension fund holding Activision shares accuses the company of engineering an underpriced merger to exploit Activision's workplace scandals and protect its embattled CEO. Kind of sounds like he wants more money. That's why he wants the lawsuit to stop and wants to get rid of that CEO. And it sounds more like this lawsuit really is targeting this over all of this stuff. It's just using all of this stuff to try to get at this. Because why throw any of this into here? Seriously, if you're trying to stop it, why put any of this in here? I don't get why you need that. Focus on the facts, and how I disputed those facts in my own way, but again, somebody else can dispute my facts. Can try to contradict me. I don't see how this becomes a monopoly. But out of all this, why put any of this in here when it echoes all of this? This is going to be an interesting turn of events. This will be an interesting story for the ages. And I do personally think this deal will go through. From all accounts, Activision and Blizzard, Microsoft, all of them continue to give concessions to the FTC. I see this deal going through. I think they're going to have to probably give up on some of these subscription services. That might be a valid point. Consolidate your subscription services. Change some things around. Who knows what's going to happen? At the end of the day, I don't see it not happening. I could be wrong. I could very easily be wrong. Activision and Microsoft might not be able to merge. I do see this, though, all these complaints, all these people coming out saying, it's a monopoly, it's a monopoly, it's a monopoly, it's going to be the biggest ever. No, it'll only be the third biggest ever. Still behind Sony, still behind Tencent. I see this deal going through. I don't see it being that big of a deal. And I see more people crying about the possibilities that Call of Duty will become backstage when Microsoft's already said, hey, here's a 10-year deal that is federally against us if you want it. You can come at us federally. Here, we're going to start offering it on your subscription services. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We're going to do this to help maximize its potential and maximize your potential. Nobody wants that deal. Why? What else am I not seeing? Somebody tell me what I'm not seeing here, because I see this from multiple angles and I keep disputing this stuff. Indie markets exist. Steam exists. Nintendo exists. From Software won Game of the Year. Thought it was going to be called God of War. From Software won Game of the Year. Microsoft hasn't won Game of the Year in years. So, all that being said, guys, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Share it out with your friends. Again, leave a comment down below. Subscribe to that channel. Well, this channel. Subscribe to this channel. That's what I meant. Hit that notification button for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.